Good morning to you. It is March 1st. It is the beginning of the third month of the year. Like, wow. This year is definitely flying by. I mean, a lot of times we say, oh man, I don't know where the year has gone. Like, February is gone. I mean, February is the shortest month of the year, but February is completely out of the window. So for those who have um what's the word? Made a New Year's resolution. Where are you at right now with your resolution? It is March, the 1st of March. So where are you at? Like what did you say that you were going to do in January? Well, let's back that up. What did you say in December that you were going to do at the beginning of the year? What did you say that you were going to do in January? What have you said that you were going to do in February? And where are you at right now with it? And on 1 March. If you're not where you say that you want it to be by 1 March, your focus is off. Your focus is completely off. And wherever you're going to find your focus, you're going to have to find it soon because this year is going to be a roller coaster for you. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Warnings of focus. And as you can see right now, the question that is proposed, have you found yourself out of focus? That's a question that is only going to be answered by those who are transparent enough to expose where they are right now presently. Have you found yourself out of focus? If you can't answer that question, you're probably out of focus. If you can't answer that question, you are either on focus with what you actually put out for yourself to do, or you found yourself out of focus and you brought yourself back into focus because you begin to understand, like, okay, bet I'm not where I'm supposed to be, but let's get back on it. Let's make it happen. And that's what we're going to do. So what I want you to do is, one, I say good morning to you because I want your morning to be blessed. I want your morning to be good. If your morning did not start out well, you do have some time to change that and alter that and to put you right back in the right path that you want to be on in your day. All right, peace. How you doing? My name is Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. Today I wanted to do this just a little bit without no background music or none of that stuff, because I want you to actually focus exactly on everything that I'm saying to you, every word that I'm saying to you, every conversation or dialogue that we interact with one another. I want you to focus on that. And that's what we're going to do today. So let's go ahead and switch it up. Warning of focus. Warning on focus. Focus will definitely warn you and tell you where you at. Focus will allow you to understand you're not where you should be. When you find yourself out of focus, you get some sort of feeling, like that internal feeling, like, man, like I know I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I feel it in my gut. Like, and I can say for me, I will speak for me. When I'm not focused, there's a lot of things that happen for me. And I can honestly say, like, I don't know what I was going to talk about today, honestly. You know, when I found out, like, what clicked, well, when it clicked, about 7:05 this morning. And you know, I go live every morning at 7:30. It hit me on what I was supposed to be speaking about at 7:05. So I said, okay, bet this is what we're talking about today. So then I had to formulate, like, what did I want to communicate about in like 25 minutes. So everything that you got, that you're going to receive today, it happened how it's supposed to happen. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Again, go ahead and drop the word focus inside the chat, because we're going to focus today. We're going to we're going to put our minds in a space to where we can actually see where we are. Then when we see where we are, we can actually tell ourselves where we're about to go. So let's jump into it. For those that don't know the platform, you're going to get definition of words, and you're going to get an inversion of the definition, whether it's going to be red over white or going to be white over red. If there is something that resonates with you, go ahead and drop it and put it inside the chat So let's go ahead and go. All right, the first definition that I want you to pay attention to with the word focus is the center of interest or activity. Focus says it is a center of interest or activity. And the inversion that I want you to pay attention to on this one is the center of interest, because your focus has to be your center of interest. If you do not have that center of interest, you will find yourself not in center of where you are going to go because you no longer remember what you were supposed to be doing. Good morning, Miss Weston. So Miss Weston said, she said, I would focus more on participating or attending more business networking events to continue growing my business. So far, I've attended 4 2 in a month. And I'm proud of you for doing that, because you had to create a center of interest, which was, I want to go and participate with more business networking events. That became your center of interest. So again, we're looking at the first definition of focus is the center of interest or activity. Miss Weston center of interest was, I want to participate and attend more business networking events. And then you flip the inversion and you go white over red or activity. The activity that she had to partake in was actually getting up and getting out of her own way and physically going to these particular locations in order for her to fulfill her center of interest. But focus will give you a warning. If you're not doing what you said that you were going to do, you will find yourself not doing it. Right? It won't happen for you because it's just a conceptual idea of what you want to do. When it becomes the center of interest and you begin to actually action that interest with activities, then you're going to start going to more places that you say you were going to go to. You will start to begin to action more of the things that you say that you want to do, because now you have a focal point, you have a center of interest, and it is going to match and align yourself with the activities that you do that you had set out for yourself. So the next definition that we're paying attention to today, it says an act of concentrating interest or activity on something. So I'm going to take, well, the inversion is white over red. The act of concentrating interest. But of course, grammatically, it will be concentrated. So we're going to look at it that way. The act of concentrated interest. Like, what are you concentrating on? Have you lost focus on your concentration? What took your concentration away from your focus? Was it because you didn't find any more interest in it? Which we're going to jump into that, especially when we get into the deep dive when we're talking about value. In its definition, again, it says an act of concentrating interest or activity on something. And the inversion is the act of concentrated. We're switching it for grammatical reasons. The act of concentrated interest. The act, that means that it's something that you're actively doing, not just something that you're actively communicating about, but something that you are actively actioning and doing. And you're creating it because it is the center of your interest. So now let's go with the last definition, and then we're going to go into the deep dive. So in this definition right here, it says the state or quality of having or producing clear visual definition. This is the last definition of focus. And the inversion that we're paying attention to right now is red over white, which is the state or quality of producing. The state, that's dealing with where you are present. Like, what's your state of mind? Like, where are your thoughts? The state or quality of producing, because the things that you actually want to produce, it has to be of quality, because it's going to be defined by your state of mind. The things that don't happen to you or for you is because you have to understand, like, where was your state of mind at the time? What was the quality of your thoughts at the time? And does your quality state of mind actually produce? If there is not a producing of results, is because you had no focus, or your state of mind became distracted by something else. Again, I'm just giving you definitions, all these definitions that you can look up. I'm just expanding the brain and allowing you to see how these definitions actually take shape in the things that we do throughout our day. Because again, it says the state or quality of producing. Like, what are you producing? Does what you produce actually is formulated in the mind? Like, does your state of mind produce quality work? Or does your state of mind produce quality actions of focus? If not, then you're going to always find yourself in situations that you know you're not supposed to be in, because you lost focus along the way. So let's get ready to go into this deep dive, and I want you to really uh, pay attention to it, because it's going to hit home for some. Because focus is one of the most important requirements to achieve. Like, I don't care what else you say about what you feel like. One of the most important requirements to achieve is you got to pray. You got to have faith. Okay, cool. You can pray. You can have faith, and after you pray, and after you have honed in on your faith, if you still don't have focus, it's not going to happen. Like, what happens after the prayer? Like, even in the Bible, it said faith without works is dead. So therefore, if you're working on something, you have to have focus. So therefore, it is a requirement. Focus is one of the most important requirements to achieve. Because think about it like this: you can't and will not have any level of achievement without focus. Because remember, it says the state or quality of producing. So if your state of mind is not of quality of thought, then therefore you will not be able to be productive nor produce. So therefore you won't be able to achieve. Because focus is an important requirement of success. You can't just say I want to succeed into this, but not have focus on it, or have focus in doing it. Because with focus, you can do anything, but without focus, you can do nothing. And that is an honest conversation that you have with yourself. Like, I won't be able to do anything unless I focus. That's you sitting yourself down and writing out what you want to do, or writing the vision, like some people say, or writing the vision, sitting down, creating an outline on what you want to achieve, not just for today, but what you want to achieve for this month. How about you do that today? Today is March 1st. Write down and create your focus goals, or your how about we'll create a focus outline. How about that? We'll call it that. Create a focus outline on what you want to accomplish this month. Today is 1 March. So what do you want to accomplish today, or what do you want to accomplish or set up for you to do today that may lead into what you want to have completed for tomorrow? Because again, with focus, you can do anything, but without focus, there's nothing that's going to get done. Because have you ever tried to complete a product, a project, or a plan without focus? It's hard. It's hard. We get distracted by everything else except what we're supposed to be focusing on, because our distractions is counterproductive to our focus. I'm gonna say that again, because I want you to really look at it for what it really is for you. Our distractions is counterproductive to our focus. but you know what your distractions are. Like, no one need to tell you what your distractions are, whether it is men or women or social media or TV or bad eating habits, whatever it is, you know what your distractions are. But when you allow your distractions to be counterproductive to your focus, then nothing is really getting done because it will begin to eat away at your focus like a locust and a plague because you allowed it to actually fester and begin to infest itself into all of the great things that you want to do because it is a good idea that you get it done, but focus keeps you in favor of your blessing. Focus keeps you in line of your future. Focus keeps you in line with the destination and it keeps you in line with the journey because you're focused on the mission or you're focused on the process at hand and you're not being distracted by the things that you know that you shouldn't be doing because focus is a cure. Focus is a cure to your procrastination. Focus is a cure to your lack of direction and productivity. It's the cure. Because when you acknowledge that I need to stay focused on this. So let me make sure I get this out of the way because I want to have this done by 1 o'clock. And you're sitting down and you're making it happen. Because focus is a value creator, right? Look at it that way. Focus is a value creation. It creates value. Focusing creates value because people focus on the things that what they find value in. And because people focus on the things that they find value in, then focus is actually a value enhancing activity. Because remember when it said the act of concentrated interest, it is an act. So therefore, there are activities that goes on and in line with your focus. So focus is a value enhancing activity. And I want you to look at this too. Like the number two reason that stops people from getting what they want is the lack of value. It's the lack of value. Because where you find value, you will find focus. Power of focus is so strong that you can forecast and predict your future because most of our predictions is going to come true. It's like that person, the person that says I can't is correct. The person that says I can is correct. But what do you value in the process? Like if I value I can, then I'm going to predict that I'm going to get it done. And the person that says I can't and they don't have focus, they're correct. Their inability to focus is already going to prove themselves to be right and they're not going to get it done. Because I can predict that nothing will happen right for you without the power of focus, direction, and value. So realign yourself with your focus. Realign yourself with your direction and realign yourself with the path that you know that you're supposed to be on. Peace, Grand Rising, Miss Robinson. Good morning, Miss Ty Da Lee. I am definitely struggling with these courses. That's the word focus. Focus is a cure for procrastination. It really is. I think a lot of times what happens is we look at the word as something so small, but it is a huge parasite to our future when we don't have that focus. So I'm gonna tell you, like yesterday was hard for me, and I got upset at myself. Like I couldn't point the finger at everybody else because I had to look at like what is my responsibility and why this didn't happen. Because I was like, man, I'm so upset. I've done everything for everybody else but me. The things that I wanted to get done, it didn't get done. It didn't happen. But in the morning, I was cool. I was talking good stuff. And I knew what I wanted to do in the day. But at the end of the day, when I began to look at the things that I did accomplish and the things I did not accomplish, I knew I lost focus. And because I lost focus, there were things that I didn't complete yesterday. And I had to look at like, yes, I allowed myself I allowed myself, I allowed this to happen because I didn't focus on what I needed to do. I didn't put enough parameters or boundaries on what I was going to do in the day in order for me to complete or in order for me to um, get what I wanted done. Now I can transparently say that, but you transparently saying that, that's another story. Like, can you transparently say, if I didn't get this done, it's my fault? Because I started to say, everybody else and and they did this and they like I can't say that because I have a part into that just like everybody else. And my part was my inability to focus on the things that I know that I needed to get done for me. And because I recognize that I had a role in why it wasn't done, I only wanted to focus on what my role was because I am only responsible for my response to what I said that I was going to do. So my focus was off. My focus was pleasing everybody else, but I didn't focus on the things that I know of the pleasures of what I wanted to do in that day. All right, I'm gonna stop telling on myself. All right. Man, y'all be blessed. I ain't gonna say just be blessed because I want you to be blessed in a bountiful way. But focus on you. You are just as important as the people that you help. You are just as important as the people that you sometimes and oftentimes put before you. Focus on what you know you need to focus on. And remember that you matter too. Focus is not always on focusing on someone else. Focus is also focusing on where you are presently at, your state of mind, your mindset. Like, it's okay to focus on you. There's nothing wrong with that. So if focusing on you is a part of your self-care, cool. Whatever it is okay to focus on you. And it's okay for somebody not to be okay with that. That's not your concern. Your concern is, are you focused on you and what you need to do? Because when you're focused on you and what you need to do, then you're focused on where you're about to go. And your future you is going to thank you for it. The goal settings are going to thank you for it because those goal settings are going to transition into accomplishments. And it's going to be that much more favorable in doing so. All right, that's enough. I think I told on myself enough this morning. Peace. Good morning, Mr. Shelton. But hey, y'all be blessed. And I'll see you tomorrow here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. Peace. Hey, drop your